I'd like to play 2 films that we've done before I launch into my talk.
Ding 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 ding
The context that I wish to highlight by choosing these 2 commercials that we've done is really to try and make us see how pause is a tool that we use in filmmaking. And if you see the Kerala tourism film, it is all about pause. It is about being able to see things that you would otherwise not have noticed. It is about seeing yourself. It is about seeing things that in a form that you haven't seen before. It's about connecting somewhere deep within your own self and then being one with nature. And I don't know whether this film really resonated with a lot of people, but even if it did with a few, I think it achieved what it was meant to do. And really, that's the essence of what I want to talk about. Because film has used pause very, very effectively. And film is a medium which has a great reach, which has wide appeal. I mean, most people in their lifetimes have watched some film or the other and have been moved, affected, and have begun to think about it. So you go into a film unarmed, not knowing something, and you can come out arming yourself with information, with having an opinion about something, or being moved by something. And this power is something that the filmmaker or the director wields. He's able to use this tool effectively over and over again across genres of film by just using a technique which is really simple but very, very unnoticed. And that's about using layers in communication. I mean, if you look at several filmmakers like Ray, Bergman, Chaplin, Shekhar Kapoor, I mean, even in the Indian context, we have several filmmakers who made extraordinary films and have used pause to be able to draw us as a viewer into that subject, to make us feel, to make us just think about what is it that he's trying to say, to assimilate. So film is essentially an amalgamation of several arts, right? It's photography, it's music, it's camera work, it's editing. And it's really the one place, the one tool that so beautifully marries technology and creativity. Photography, for example, is really about pause. It's freezing a moment to let it stay with you. Music uses crescendo beautifully just after a bridge or creating a pause. It allows you to be aroused. So what pause does really is give you a little moment, and then it takes you to the next, which is a moment of wow, or awe, or just stillness and thinking and assimilating. It allows everything that you saw to come and catch up with you at that one point and then take you to the next. So it's like a really beautiful bridge. And like in comedy, like you saw in the Gems film, just using pause can make you laugh, eases the tension, right? So pause really is a tool that I found with having watched so many films, with having studied films, with having done so many films, is something that resonates with me personally. And really, so the story, the impact, and the mood is in the pause. Because pause can really bridge and take you to a point where you start living, realizing, and going deeper into something. For me, pause was not something that I consciously chose, and that's what I'm going to talk about next, because what pause did to me personally, and that's my moment of pause, was when, while everything was going great guns and we were working really hard and there was all the awards coming our way and people, recognizing you and, making you feel good about life, and it's that whole energy that overtakes you and you're working 24/7, you're getting onto flights, you're traveling, you're going here, you're meeting very, very creative people, and it's great. And in the midst of all that, I realized that I was pregnant, which is a great moment of lots of joy. And then suddenly the doctor tells me that everything's great, but you've got to sit back because you're carrying twin children, and you've got to sit up with your feet up and do nothing. You cannot travel, you cannot go anywhere, you can't do a thing. Of course, you can be on the phone and you can, figure out life from within the four walls of your home. But really, you've got to take it easy now. And that came as a bit of a jolt, and I was like, okay, it's going to take me some time to get used to this. But what happened soon after, and it's a 9-month period, I realized that suddenly I was doing things that I wasn't doing earlier, which is I was eating healthier, I was reading books, I was watching movies, I was talking to a lot of old friends, I was suddenly listening to music and doing things that I enjoyed doing. And that was something I had missed doing for a large chunk of my life before. And I realized, especially after the kids were born, that there was a new purpose to my life. And that all the work and all the excitement had suddenly shifted focus to being me and the purpose of my motherhood. And it was beautiful. But of course, life comes in the way and it goes on and everything sort of overpowers what you're doing. But something that I learned from there was that there's a calmness in adopting pause. And in my interactions with people, I used to earlier be fairly reactive. I was very opinionated. I would have a point of view on everything that I said. So, there would be moments where we would, I'd get into heated arguments about something. But after having adopted pause, what I realized I could do better was to just pull myself out of that conversation and watch what I was saying. And I realized that by just watching what I was saying, I was able to be more calm. I was able to include another point of view into what I was saying. And I was able to see that there could be another point of view, or there could be something that I could learn from the other person. And that's something that happened to me without my really consciously taking it on. But once I started being aware of it, it made a big difference to who I was. In fact, very recently, like about a month ago, while again, the momentum of life sort of sweeps you and you go ahead and you have duties and you have roles to play and you have things to do, my mother suddenly fell ill. And it was a heart condition, and we were not warned of it earlier, so she had no history of it. And of course, I dropped everything that I was doing, and I wanted to be with her, so I was with her, 24/7. And I had this call from a friend of mine, and I was able to take that call at that point. And he said to me, "So where are you?" And I said, "You know what, I'm at home with my mom, and she's just had a heart condition, and she's going in for surgery." And he said, "Wow, okay, here's something I want to tell you. I lost my dad about 3 months ago. And of course, he lives in another city, and he would call me every other day, and he was renovating his house, and he would get into exhaustive details on the phone about a contractor not, coming in on a particular day, or about some plumbing leak or some electrical problem, or just not being able to, get together certain goods, or whatever it is." And he would go into exhaustive details. And my friend says that at every point through all those conversations, I would butt in midway and say, "Dad, okay, what's the point?" But today he's not around, and if there's one thing I regret, is not giving him those extra 5 minutes to say what he had to, because he just wanted to talk. And I feel awful about that. I heard him. I put the phone down, and suddenly there was a moment of clarity, which is while I was doing what I was doing, and I was doing it well, and I was playing the role of a daughter, and I was, handling it all perfectly, I was not present in that moment. And that is something that all of us at some points in our lives forget to do. We forget to stay in that moment and let it soak in and understand it better. And there's a stillness, there's a beauty, there's a calm in that, which we don't allow ourselves for some reason. And I'm unable to pinpoint what that reason is. Which brings me to my next point, which is, if collectively, as humanity, we understood that there is so much power in that one word, pause, maybe we would look at things differently. We have so many things to do, things to achieve, things to acquire, whether it's money, whether it's material things, whether it's just role playing. We're so busy with going on and on and on and on that we don't really have any time to step back. And the only time that we step back is when we have to take a vacation because our children have summer holidays, or when we have no other option, but there's an illness that happens and you have to attend to that. But even through those moments, we're not allowing ourselves to really pause, because even in those moments, we're just plodding on. So how do we consciously bring pause into our lives? Because imagine if we did, what it would bring would be awareness, would be a space. We would be going into our mind's eye. We would be going in and hearing much better than we do. And that's the irony of pause, which is while we think that when we shut our ears and eyes, we can't hear or we can't see, that's not true. When we shut our eyes and we shut our ears, we actually hear and see a lot more. And maybe that's really the point where technology and social impact come. Because pause is really that midpoint. Because when you know something and you're armed with a certain knowledge, and when you stop to think about what is it now that I can do with that, is when you really cross over to the next stage and actually able to do something about it. Now, I'm saying this to you, but really this is my moment of pause. And I don't know tomorrow what I'm going to do. I make films, I run a company, but I don't know, maybe I'll step out of here and someday, write a book, maybe start a blog, maybe make a film which has some impact. So, all of us at some point are waiting for that moment of significance to happen in our lives. Some of them have already gotten there, some of us are vulnerable, we don't know. But I think that the power of pause, if you can get that integrated into what you're doing now, and if you're aware that just by being still, just by assimilating, I'm already on the path to being able to make some change. I think we've managed at least 80% of it, really. Then the rest of it will just follow. So while in our lives we're taught that we go up the vertical dimension, up, 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 up. You have to grow, you have to achieve, you have to earn money, you have to become victorious, and there has to be recognition and prestige that follows. We're not taught to go down that vertical dimension. We're not taught that there's a dimension of depth right under where we are. And if we would just stop and go under, the same tree that was flowering so beautifully and was standing tall and strong would just take a whole new meaning, would just be so much more rooted in its cause, and would be doing so much else. Right? Imagine governance, policy making. Imagine teaching, schools, offices, workplaces, bosses, interpersonal relationships, spouses, our dealings with children. They would all just become so much more meaningful. They would become so much more powerful. So really, just by allowing ourselves today to find a way to integrate pause into our lives, I think we'd be doing ourselves a really big favor. And hopefully we'd go a long way and make some sort of social impact. I'd like to leave you with one film, another film that we've done.
वो मैंने कुरियर कर दिया था सर जी, शुक्रवार को 11:30 बजे सुबह कर दिया था। हाँ जी, क्या नहीं मिला आपको? मिल जाएगा सर, मिल जाएगा ना सर, क्यों परेशान हो रहे हैं आप? हाँ जी सर, मैंने कुरियर कर दिया है।
लीशा
सर कभी-कभी चीजें मतलब आप समझ नहीं रहे मेरी बात को। आपको क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैंने कुरियर नहीं किया है?
पूरा कचरा साफ करो जल्दी।
सर मेरी सिंपल
क्या
प्रॉब्लम
फायदा
ये है
है?
कि आज संडे है। मैं
सब काम मुझे
सर संडे को मैं कहाँ जाऊंगा आप बताइए मुझे। सर संडे को कौन सा कुरियर वाला खुला रहता है सर, आप बताइए मुझे। सर मैं अपने आप को आपकी जगह रखकर देख रहा हूँ, लेकिन सर
ये डस्टबिन में से सारा
आप मेरी बात को समझने की कोशिश तो कीजिए सर। सर एक दिन का सवाल है। आप सर आज संडे है, कल मंडे है। मैं सर आप अजीब तरीके से बात कर रहे हैं सर।
लीशा तुमने बाहर के कपड़े निकाल दिए? जाओ जल्दी निकालो।
जो जी हाँ सर, मैं कह रहा हूँ कल मंडे है, आ जाएगा सर कल सुबह। हाँ
Thank you.